Hello.
It's like now I have the power. Thank you.
Yeah. But we can see.
Okay, now
we
I
can
see you. Hi, Leon. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Alice.
Hi, Pia.
Hello.
How are
Should
you?
I guess you have to allow sharing as well, and you'll do that as we go through the meeting, yeah? Because at the moment I don't have the share button available. Just to see if we
can. I
can.
put up the meeting the same as the webinar I had last week, and everything's different. I don't know why.
Some box you didn't tick.
Actually, I checked and it's all the same. I don't know why. But yeah.
What happens if I press this button? Does that work? Oh, look, that does look like it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can see the presentation.
Yeah.
And you can just see the presentation, yes, not the window.
Yeah, we see the first slide, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
But with a black frame. 1 second. It's
You take a screenshot, show me what it looks like.
Yep, if I do, then all the participants see it too. So
okay. All right, so it's got some kind of black frame around it, does it? Well, let's try a different way. Stop sharing. I'm going to just do a traditional share screen. See if that works better.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hope you're all right.
Hello. Morning.
Everything good?
That's no good. Hang on, what happened there?
If you already are in presentation mode, you can also share just the presentation mode.
Yeah, I know. I just have a problem with my screens. It's sharing across screens, then I can't see anything. All I can see is my presentation.
Should I try to share as well? Just to
if you want to.
Yes, okay,
yeah, you try while I'm trying to fix my issues.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let me try to. Okay, yes. Okay, so it's working.
I think the black window beer is only seen by us because we're part of the organizational team, because you can actually give navigation to somebody else, because I see that I actually have this the
notes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, maybe we should try to make usually it's not visible.
Okay.
I don't know, how should we?
Did you just use the share in Teams button on PowerPoint, or did you share the window?
No, I shared the presenting Teams.
Okay, I'm going to share in the old-fashioned way and let's see what happens.
Okay.
Looks good.
So do you see the buttons now or not?
No, actually not.
Okay.
Don't know why.
I just need to see if I can change the slide. There we go. Okay, so it does work. It is changing slides.
Yeah,
good.
Looks good.
Perfect. Well, the old-fashioned way works without the border.
Can I also try?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. We'll share this one.
Now we see your whole screen.
Yeah, okay. If I do this, what do you see?
Your screen, but we also see your notifications. If you want us to not see your notifications and messages, please stop sharing and try it again and choose just the window.
Just window. You mean just this one? Okay, good. And one question. So do you also see, because I have also the notes in my slide.
I don't
So
see
you
the
see-
notes.
Yeah, you don't
We-
see. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if somebody texts you, we will see the notification.
Okay.
But have you tried sharing it through presenting Teams or in normal sharing? Why is it was visible for me and
Okay. So I now use the window.
Yeah.
Which one?
Perfect.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
looks good.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you all for joining.
So we will stay in the same room and then.
Yes.
other-
For all you to know, as I didn't get all the full titles of all of you, I just go with like that. Just the project and your short title and the name. I hope that's okay for you.
Mhm.
So it's all the
That's
same.
fine.
So perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you have any last minute questions to the moderator, then yeah, Iris is here. So
Yeah, maybe I
yes.
give a roundabout of how I plan to do the things, and if you have any suggestions or things to discuss. So first we go through the house rules, you know, the recording and the housekeeping rules for the audience. Then I will do a short introduction about the webinar and the renovation wave, quite short. I will do a super quick introduction to the speakers and to the projects that you're going to present. So just naming them. And then my plan is to go one by one. And when I do that, I go a little bit more into the information that you've shared with me about the speaker and the project. You can also feel free to add more to that once you have the floor, but then you can, if you're okay with that, you go straight to the presentation of the project. So I'm doing it this way instead of presenting everyone at the beginning, because then maybe it gets confusing for the listener that who is who. So yeah, we focus on the way that Pia has put the chronological order. So we start with Flamina, and then Francesco, and then Shima, and then Lucas, Leon, and Nur. So you know also the order of the. Then in terms of when we finalize all the presentations, I had two options that I could also discuss with you. Number one, since we have in the schedule a panel discussion, cross-project perspectives, my idea would be either we open the floor right away to the listeners, so to the people. That would be my preference, because usually it can be either full silence, so they have no question, and then I have a backup that I have prepared some questions for you guys. Or I can start with the questions, but then maybe that way we kind of might burn some of the questions that the audience has. So this is why I prefer the first version, but you let me know how you prefer. So we get a little bit of programming of Pia here, because I open the floor first for questions for the audience, but yeah, just to avoid some duplications maybe and questions that they asked, and then I can take off. And my questions in general are about the projects, like commonalities, challenges you faced, what would you do different, what have you learned that can be replicable. So things like this that probably you already have in the findings or recommendations of your projects, and probably some of you will mention them during the presentations, but maybe we then do a cross-cutting amongst all projects, how we see all these projects that we'll be presenting today fit into each other, into the whole renovation wave, and what can we learn from each other and move forward. And when I make the questions, the floor is open, of course. You can jump in. It's an open discussion. You just raise your hand, or you give us a sign, and of course the floor is yours.
Sounds good.
Excuse me, can I try sharing again? Because maybe now the note won't be visible. Let me just try one moment.
I also said that we are going to be spontaneous about it. So perfectly fine. And so then I will start the recording is already started automatically, but I will stop the recording before the Q&A and before the panel discussion then.
And Pia, quick question for you. Do you want me to also go through the house rules, or do you prefer to do that?
No, you're totally fine if you do that.
And you will be going through the slides of the presentation, right? At the beginning with the slide rule, with the rules and stuff.
You can share the screen yourself.
Okay.
Hello, Lucas. Now you're also there.
Hi.
Everything good?
Yes.
Perfect. We have just discussed some organization things.
Yeah, if I ask you to share that, would that be okay? Because my screen then gets blocked and I don't see anything else, and I would prefer to have control over the room. Is that okay?
No worries. I can also share.
Perfect. Thank you. Hi, Lucas. Welcome. So maybe a quick roundabout. The idea here is we first start with the house rules, and then I make a short intro into the renovation wave, so what is expected, and then I shortly present the projects and the speakers. Lucas, you are fourth in line, so I will make sure to name the project and yourself so that you know that this is your cue. If you'd like to share now the screen to see if everything is fine and there's no hiccups, that would be good.
Okay.
Looks good.
All right. Perfect.
Perfect. So, and then we decided, or we discussed that we open the floor for questions first to the audience, and then we do the panel discussion about the cross-cutting of the projects, lessons learned, what can we share, the replicability, what are the main challenges, main learnings, and such things.
Okay, I might jump out at 11. I have a train to airport today because I'm traveling. So at 11, I need to jump out.
Okay. I'm sure by then you will be done with your presentation. So what you might be missing is the Q&A or the panel discussion, but that should be okay.
Sorry, I was trying to understand why the notes were visible, but by trying with other people, it's not visible. So probably it's just because you have the controls.
Hi everyone, good morning.
Hello.
Morning.
So I will deactivate the waiting room now so everybody can get in, and then we're going to start in a few minutes.
Effie, maybe you don't hear things because for now nothing is happening. We're just waiting, yeah, for the people to join, and then we'll start in a minute or two. I think maybe we can start little by little. Maybe we start with some house rules. Of course, you're here for the webinar, Driving the Renovation Wave Together, Synergies and Lessons Learned Across EU Projects. We have today 6 very interesting projects and speakers, which I will get in a little bit to introduce them. But first things first, please note that this webinar is being recorded. And the recording will end at the last presentation and will not include the question and answer session. So if you have any burning questions or points that you'd like to discuss, that will not be traceable by any means. Moving on to the next one, you can ask questions directly during the interactive session, which will be at the end of the presentations. But you can also put the questions in the chat. That's also a possibility. And we then will collect them and answer them as we go. Please note that you cannot use the camera or microphone until the Q&A session. So if you're having trouble turning them on, that means because you do not have access to that, but you will have once the Q&A session is on. With that said, also the agenda of the webinar is quite holistic, but also simplistic. We will start with a short introduction about the renovation wave. Then we will go through the project contributions. Then we will do a little bit of change in the last 2 sessions. We will first open the Q&A for the audience, for you guys to ask any questions or clarities you might want to listen to from the projects that we will be presenting. And after that, we can do a little bit of a discussion with the projects and speakers. Well, once more, I'd like to welcome you all to this webinar, Driving the Renovation Wave Together, Synergies and Lessons Learned from Across EU Projects. We are delighted to have you here with us to explore one of the most pressing and transformative challenges in Europe today, accelerating the renovation of our buildings to achieve a more sustainable, resilient, and inclusive future. This is a topic that I'm sure is of interest to all of you, and hence your being in this webinar. Across the EU, buildings account for a significant share of energy consumption and carbon emissions, but they are also representing one of the greatest opportunities. The renovation wave is not just a policy package, it's a societal endeavor. It calls for technical innovation, community engagement, financial creativity, and digital and behavioral insights to come together in a new, meaningful way. And in today's webinar, we will try to do exactly that. Through the projects, we will look at different prospects and aspects, how this project tackles some of the topics that are relevant to the renovation wave. Our aim today is to highlight the synergies across these initiatives, uncover the lessons learned from real-life pilots, and reflect on what is truly making to enable renovation at scale, whether through new governance models, smarter financing, improved data management, human-centered design. All these topics will be part of some of the projects. Of course, as mentioned before, they will look at different angles, but as a holistic point of view, all these topics will be discussed. With that in mind, I won't take too much more of your time, but I will start with the first introduction and the first speaker. The project is called SUPERSHINE, and Flamina Rocca will be the presenter for this session. Flamina is a project manager at the Agency of Promotion of European Research and is responsible for the conceptualization, drafting, and editing of R&I project proposals, as well as projects, operational management, stakeholder engagement, awareness-raising campaigns, etc. The presentation will describe SUPERSHINE, a project that tries to tackle affordable, energy-efficient, and community-led renovation models for social housing, with a focus on energy poverty, outdated housing, and social inclusion through the co-design process, innovative financing schemes. What is interesting about this project is also that it has 3 lighthouses demonstrators in Trieste, Herning, and Riga. And without further ado, I leave the floor to Flamina to deliver her presentation. Flamina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me share my screen, just one moment. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Thank you for the presentation. Today, I'm going to present SUPERSHINE project dedicated to transforming social housing districts to community-led renovation. Okay, during this past 3 and almost half a year of projects, our goal tried to go beyond just improving the condition of the built environment as we work to reduce energy poverty, tackle outdated infrastructure, and strengthen social fabric in neighborhoods. Because a central assumption in SUPERSHINE is the belief that residents are not passive recipients, but co-creators of change. We, as you mentioned, operated in 3 lighthouse districts, Riga, Herning, and Trieste, and test the replicability pathways into 4 fellow cities. The new European Bauhaus Compass pillars have guided all the steps of the SUPERSHINE process since the creation of its methodology to its implementation. With NEP together, we prioritize co-creation, co-design, and co-decision respectively in the 3 lighthouses, as we are about to see, moving residents up to the ladder of participation, meaning that we work through living labs methodology with local facilitators, child-friendly and gender-sensitive workshops, the use of digital platforms and other engagement tools, ensuring that every voice is heard. And through the NEP Sustainable, the second pillar, we integrated innovative financing model, community energy management, material reuse, creating more or less the integration of the sustainability both in an environmental sense and in a financial sense. Then, with the NEP Beautiful, we had in mind the fact that renovation is not only technical, should not be only technical, and the communities were engaged in imagining greener courtyards, more accessible public spaces, buildings that are not only practical in their use with a lot of utilities, but also in line with their cultural heritage and addressing all the essential needs. We operated into 3 lighthouses, selected because each of them captured a different European challenging in social housing renovation. In Riga, we had the Agenskalna Prides district that is a large Soviet-era neighborhood with outdated and inefficient buildings with low energy performance, of course, but also technological aspects, very limited high quality public spaces, and planned intervention focus on created not only greener and more accessible courtyards, but also integrated renewable energy systems, improving building envelopes and enhancing the overall livability of the shared outdoor spaces. Then in Trieste, we have the Boito district, a social housing complex that represented the socially and physical fragile district with not only outdated infrastructure, but also poor accessibility and underused green spaces. And the renovation plan include demolishing and reconstruct the entire housing blocks, redesigning open spaces to make them more functional and inclusive, and also improving the connection to services and to the surrounding areas. While in Herning, we have the Fjellsbo district that aimed at evolving toward a more sustainable and circular model at the neighborhood level. Buildings required modernization to reduce energy consumption, but also outdoor spaces needed to be reimagined, but also the ecological assessment of the environment. So planning intervention covered 4 different areas with the installation of photovoltaic systems, community-led reforestation and rewilding, biodiversity, behavioral paths trained to the community, and material reuse laboratory supported by SMEs and vocational schools. In the slides, you can see that, as I was mentioning before, we used the 3 steps of the participation ladder because we had in Riga a co-creation of the renovation vision. In Trieste, we had an actual co-design of the architectural and spatial plan for the Boito complex. And in Erning, we had an actual process of co-decision through the Board of Tenants in the social housing district of Fielsbo. So a bit more details, I try to go quick, sorry, about the Riga district that demonstrate the transformational power was obtained through giving communities an actual agency in shaping an entire and holistic vision for the future transformation. Residents, in fact, shaped a collective vision through festivals, surveys, co-designing workshop, participatory budgeting, and the use of an innovative Tandems digital platform created by the Lighthouse Manager, meaning Riga Energy Agency, together with their partners. And their collective ideas spanning from green infrastructure, bottom-up financing, improving public spaces. And what we observed as a good practice is that short-term visible actions like cleanup days, site visit to already renovated buildings significantly increase both motivation and trust. In Trieste, the challenge has been to rebuild trust after years of disconnection of these particular areas between residents and the institution, and also rebuild a connection with the surrounding areas. And SUPERSHINE integrated its work with existing micro-area social program and creating a living lab that was inclusive workshop targeted different population groups like young people that design green imaginative prototypes using tools like Minecraft. Families contributed to envisioning 5-minute cities like with everyday services made accessible. And residents in general identified all the concrete needs such as better green spaces, integration of small local shop inside the new complex of social housing in Boito, and the creation of shared facilities. In this case, we may say that creating a phased approach covering different target groups, created the plans that truly responds to different community needs. And the process highlighted also replicable methodologies such as inquiry by design, that probably you know that, but it is an approach in which planners, designers, technical experts, and community members all work together in iterative sessions, moving back and forth between the communities, understanding the concept and generating design ideas. And each proposal of renovation is immediately tested through discussion and visualization of any means to ensure an actual response by the local community. Erning offers compelling example of how the established tenant democracy in Denmark can actually power community-led renovation also in social housing through their 2-level boards of tenants. Residents co-decided the energy management systems, rewilding strategies, and material reuse. And in particular, what actually worked very well was the partnership with local vocational school, SMEs, and in particular their ESCOs. Across the lighthouses, together with our partner ICONS and their social innovation teams, we monitored a set of social acceptance and engagement KPIs, and in particular, after our analysis, the data confirmed some crucial insights, like the fact that, of course, engagement raises acceptance, because residents who participate in the renovation process feel more positive about renovation, especially for what concern aesthetics and practical usefulness. but awareness cannot be assumed even after these processes, because they are quite short and they should be maintained throughout time. So communication must be constant, accessible, with all the source of information continuously available, in particular for group with lower digital literacy. And community cohesion does not improve automatically even though social acceptance rises, because it requires targeted and inclusive activities like the one in Trieste. Then just to conclude, sorry for taking too much time, SUPERSHINE has shown that we can actually replicate the process as we try to do in our 4 fellow cities by enabling people to become, of course, active contributors. Designers must be ready to co-create with residents and local facilitators who understand language, cultural nuances, and digital tool works well, but they must be paired with support for those with that are less digitally confident. And when communities participate in shaping proposal, they became more confident about the benefits. They understand the benefits better, like lower bills, better accessibility, green spaces that can be actually accessed by everybody. But also trust must be maintained, because residents needs proof of feasibility and financial clarity and viability of these processes. Otherwise, the initial enthusiasm can turn into skepticism. So as the scientific coordinator, Professor Paola Zerilli, is going to show in the webinar of tomorrow, our financial package developed by SUPERSHINE, including a one-stop shop, business plan, and crowdfunding strategies, and as well as other innovative financial instruments, I have to ensure that intervention remain viable and long-lasting. So this element together shaped our model that is both environmental friendly, efficient in terms of energy use, but also culturally sensitive to their context of the different lighthouses. So I guess that it's over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Flaminia, for this very interesting presentation. By the way, the name of the project, SUPERSHINE, very nice, very cool. Okay, we move on to the next project, citizen-led renovation, and we will have presenting Francesco Lecchi, which is a consultant of energy and climate policy at Ricardo. Francesco is involved in multiple projects related to energy, and I had the pleasure to work with him in CLR, where he was leading the task on capacity building and support services for learners and followers. The CLR project is an EU initiative aiming to empower existing and prospective energy communities to put citizens in the driver's seat of energy-saving renovation projects. This project had 2 phases, with the second one finalizing soon. In phase 1, they assisted 4 pilot projects in overcoming financial, legal, technical, and informational barriers to deliver sustainable residential buildings. And in phase 2, they enhanced the package of support with 6 pilots, 14 learners, and 30 plus followers. Without further ado, Francesco, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hermes, and good morning to everyone. So you already introduced me quite well. So I'm Francesco. I work for the company Ricardo, who is part of the consortium leading this European Commission project, Citizen-led Renovation. So I'll just give you a quick overview of the scope of the project and what we try to achieve through these different phases. So as Hermes very well introduced, what we're trying to do in this project is trying to shift the focus from a top-down to a bottom-up approach in renovation. So really trying to understand what are the main barriers for people trying to implement renovation projects, starting from a community approach. And what we tried to do through this project was to build capacity of local actors to be able to manage collectively, collective and coordinated renovation. So we did that through a coordination of technical, legal, financial, and community engagement tools that we have developed throughout these years of project. And this has been possible to thanks to a very diverse and complete and skillful consortium, which was composed by the companies that you see here. and thanks to the different skills, we were able to lead this project through the last years. So just giving you a quick overview of what all service was already introducing, these three main phases. So just to make you understand what approach we took. So the first phase was conducted during the years 2023 and 2024. In the first phase, there was first a focus on 4 pilots, so just these 4 pilots, and try to understand how to enable their projects. And these pilots were TripleSec in Ireland, Copernico in Portugal, Energent in Belgium, and ItzGray in Bulgaria. And besides that, there were also 6 followers and 4 lighthouses. This was also supported through an enables board. We're currently in the second phase of the CLR project. Actually, the second phase is now going towards an end. We had a couple of weeks ago our final event in Brussels, where we also sat down and started discussing a few of the findings that I will show to you later. And the second phase, we again had 6 pilots. We expanded a bit the scope. But we had a larger pool of projects to work with because we also work with 13 learners and 38 followers. Just also for you to know, there is a third phase which is currently starting. So the idea of this third phase is to scale up the support through national networks. So from supporting individual pilot projects to establishing a robust network of organizations. Also for you to know, this third phase is being led by a different consortium. So it's not the companies that you saw in the introduction, but you can find also more information about this third phase on the website of the Citizen-Led Renovation Project. As I was saying, we from the first phase to the second phase, we expanded the scope of the project, not only in terms of the type of projects that were involved, but also geographically, because indeed this project goes in hand with the expansion of the concept of energy communities, even if it's not the sole focus of the project. But as energy communities have expanded in the last year, so has the concept of citizen-led renovation. And you can see how we have started targeting more countries in the last years, including countries in the Balkans, in Scandinavia, in Central and Eastern Europe, more than the first focus of the project, which was more directed towards Central and Western Europe. So the assistance provided in the first phase of the citizen-led renovation project focus on, as I was saying before, on overcoming financial barriers. So not only the technical, but also the financial perspective, the legal barriers, the informational barriers, and trying to then deliver this future-proof residential buildings. In the second phase, we have also tried to implement an approach which was quite holistic again, and we work with different experts. So the different initiatives have had what we'd call a SPOC, a single point of contact, which was effectively an expert, oftentimes coming from the same country of the initiative. And then we had a whole series of webinars. We developed documents, we developed guidance documents to help them conduct these different types of activities. So the first bucket of activities was comprehended technical assistance, so help with the assessment of buildings, their energy performance, their renovation needs, and trying to find and identify suitable measures to be able to then identify renovation scenarios and design energy efficient solutions. We supported them in structuring also funding models, navigating different subsidies, both at European and national level, or sometimes even regional, and addressing regulatory, ownership, and liability challenges. We work then also with capacity building and mentoring, because we know of the importance of skills in being able to implement these different components of a project. So we supported local actors in aspects such as project management, communication. So we had a lot of assistance in trying to organize different events, also for engaging the citizens who are the ones who in the end are really making the renovation possible. And we assisted also with collaborative renovation planning in a more broad sense. We work also in ecosystem development, so we facilitated the cooperation among the different stakeholders. So we know the importance of good collaboration between local authorities, between cooperatives who bring the community together, between banks, which obviously enable financially the projects, contractors and citizens. And we help them establish structures that hopefully will last beyond the projects and not just ad hoc collaborations, but more lasting structures. And we then work also with community engagement support. So we try to provide tools and methods for outreach, building trust, participation, and we help them develop tailored communication material. What I think we discussed also last week in the final event was trying to understand at the end of the day, besides the specific cases that we had, what were in general the main barriers and solutions that we identified and that hopefully are replicable from an European perspective. So we could say that also relating to my last slide, but what we found to be the recurring challenges, the recurring barriers, are first of all the technical barriers. So citizen groups, we know that struggle with the complexity of renovations. Renovation processes have strong technical barriers, and there's also lack of trusted service providers and the diverse building stock that requires tailored technical solutions. There's also legal and regulatory barriers. So we know the CLR lacks clear legal recognition. So you will find a lot of times legislation which relates to renovation, to community activities, but citizen-led renovation is a whole, say, different challenge per se. So they face the problem is facing fragmented and time-consuming permitting procedures as well, and the need to operate with unclear role allocation that can complicate the service delivery. We identify obviously financial barriers, so high upfront renovation costs. We know renovation is expensive for the community, and the lack of suitable long-term funding mechanisms can make these projects unpredictable from a financial perspective. So this creates additional challenges. And then insufficient financial resilience for covering coordination and expert support, which hinder progress. So we know that you need funding not only to implement renovation, but also to have the experts that to pay the experts that can support you throughout these projects. And then at last, we have social and informational barriers, so low trust, weak social cohesion, difficulty in engaging beyond early adopters, and limited access to clear renovation informations are all aspects which can reduce the participation of these projects, and obviously by reducing participation, slow community mobilization. Obviously, we didn't focus only on the challenges, but also on the solutions. We actually call them the realistic conditions for progress. So we really try to identify aspects which are realistic, but it can indeed really help and are quite transversal to our projects. And these were the first aspect is to strengthen local capacity. So what we saw that really worked is to have capacity building workshop for community members, volunteers, coordinators, and really build on these partnerships with technical, legal, and financial experts to support renovation decisions. So even if it seems quite a simplistic thing to say, really working with all the different actors really helps to have them all on board and align and strengthen this local capacity. We also identify the need of building trust and cooperation. So close collaboration with municipalities and other legal entities combined with transparent two-way communication was very important. So all stakeholders feel involved and heard. So here the aspect of engagement is very important. Maintaining public confidence, because we know in this project it's quite easy to lose public confidence. We know also that these projects are lengthy, are complicated. It's very easy to lose some pieces on the way, but providing consistent access to clear information and showing reliability through tangible results, regular progress updates really helps to keep people engaged and see that you are moving forward. And also the fact of avoiding overconfidence and strengthening the internal support we found as an important aspect. So recognizing that no single group can manage CLR alone. This again goes in the direction of really realizing and showing the complexity of a project. So building a strong internal team with diverse expertise and staying open to external support when needed is very important. Through this project, we also identified a few policy recommendations. So this goes a bit in the discussion of today relating to the renovation wave. So what we have identified is obviously we had a larger document which really collects all the different policy recommendations, but trying to summarize them into a few points. The main points are that CLR should be integrated into EU national and local energy climate governance, so including LTRS and so the national energy and carbon plans, local heating and cooling plans. So there should be a more formal presence, let's say, of what is citizen-led renovation. So you can also work to develop targets. Another suggestion is to broaden and harmonize the definition of CLR beyond registered energy communities to include diverse community-based entities. So as I was saying earlier, we mainly work with energy communities because we found them to be, at the moment, the best structure to be able to implement community-based approaches. But it is also important that we don't keep our work confined to energy communities. So there can be other forms of community led projects such as through cooperatives, through condominiums, through municipalities that can also really help in spreading the concept. And our third, let's say, main package of policy recommendation was to accelerate the full transposition and glorification of renewable energy communities and citizen energy communities definition across the different member states to enable CLR rollout. So as I was saying, still the energy communities are the main concept through which we worked, and sometimes it was a barrier that there is a lack of full transposition in all EU member states, and so obviously growing the concept of energy communities can also help grow the concept of CLR. And the last one is to strengthen cooperation with existing support structures, such as one-stop shops, energy agencies, by clarifying complementarity, enabling CLR communities to receive support or act as accredited one-stop shop providers, helping overcome complexity and scale renovation services. So again, making, let's say, more formal these forms of cooperation with other entities. Yeah, so I hope I didn't take too much time. So these were, let's say, the main findings. Obviously, there isn't time to go into the details of the different pilots, learners, and the different projects, which are indeed very interesting. So besides today's presentation, I do invite you to go and visit our citizen-led renovation project website, where you can also see a lot of articles on the different projects we have worked on. You can find also a handbook which summarizes all the main tools we have developed in the last 2 years of the project. So yeah, I do invite you to do so, and I give you back the floor, Urbis. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesco, very much. As you can notice, we're already starting to see commonalities already, like hints for questions from the audience that can be coming later, technical expertise, financing, funding problems or issues, legal aspects of things, and also relationship building and building trust. Those are some of the takeaways that I'm already noting in my book, but also for the hints for the audience for questions. One quick note from my side, if Shima is okay with you, I will go first with Lukas because he has to leave at 11 and we do a switch. So if that's okay, perfect. All right, thank you so much. All right, then we move on with the MULTICARE project. Lukas is a sociologist, certified project manager and social researcher with more than 10 years experience in international projects. He's worked both as a partner and coordinator with different projects. In his daily work, he focuses on project management, social research, market research, etc. Without further ado, I give you the floor, Lukas, to present the MULTICARE project. Thank you.
Hey, hi, good morning. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar, and also thank you for switching the presentation as I need to catch the train for my to the airport. So thank you for this, and I will share screen and go quickly with what I prepared today. All right, so I would like to focus on one aspect of the renovation, on the example of the MULTICARE project, and I would like to say a few, let's say, lessons learned or things that we found with regards technical thing, which is a plug and play facade. Very quickly about the project, one slide only, that we are focusing on in the MULTICARE project on the 3 areas. The first, which I will focus more today, is the development of the plug and play facades. We are combining this with 2 other aspects. First is also the multi-hazard approach, so not only the renovation itself of the building, but also looking at renovation hazards that are approaching and that buildings are facing on a daily basis. And here we took 3 of them: heat waves, earthquakes, and floods. And the last third component is that apart from creating the facades and installing them on the buildings, there will be also equipped with additional digital systems. And our solution will be implemented on the 3 real buildings. Currently, most of the designs were done, and we are now moving to the phase of production of the components in the factories. Okay, so going straight into the topic of the webinar, and what I would like to present are the benefits of this kind of plug and play prefabricated facades, and what are the benefits of using this kind of technology. One of the aspects is the impact on the climate and on energy consumption. First of all, this kind of materials were using mostly the materials from the recycling, of course. For example, based on the timber made from the demolition and of different wooden buildings, and then they are transformed to these new prefabricated facades. Of course, another good point of using the prefabricated facades is that they are very fast in both in the production, but also in the installation itself. And by this, we would like to also support net zero climate targets. I was also mentioning about the part of this resilience and risk reduction that buildings may benefit from of using this kind of technologies. And by not going into the existing structure of the building, not going, let's say, into the structure by refreshing the existing skeleton of the building, we are able to, with minimal construction work, attach a new layer, a new skin to the building, which will help them to deal with the earthquakes or with the heat waves we mentioned as our hazards. Those kind of resilience and risk reduction works firstly are performed in the labs, where we recreate already existing part of the building. Even the layers of the bricks are the same, if we have window or not. And then we are able to make a tailor-made or customized facade to each building by using this lab approach. Why they are also flexible, the plug-and-play facades. They can be removed at any time with very limited cost, and they can be like refreshed, or they can be rebuilt, taking into consideration changing environment or new technology. So in a week or two, you can detach the facade from the skeleton. For example, change the PVs that were previously installed. If the technology allows us to have more efficient PVs, you detach the facade, attach a new PV sensor, PV plants, panels, sensors, or whatever technology occurs in the time of this facade is already attached. You can very easily change it. Of course, they are also, as I said, trying to be very standardized apart from making them as a custom versions. So, for example, if the building owners decide to change this facade, it can be reused on the other building. So the material is not a waste. It can be used in a different building, and the current one can change this facade, deciding what are their main goals, or having PVs or green facade. You can play like a Lego bricks almost. And just to summarize, what are these long-term benefits of using plug-and-play facades? So first of all, they are the prefabricated facades reduce a lot of time during the construction, and there is very few moments that the building occupants needs to move out from a house due to the noise or other construction things that can happen and can disturb the normal living condition of the occupants. Of course, by attaching this new skin, this new layer to building, we can reduce the costs of repairing the original structure of the building. And on the other aspect, it not only improve the indoor environment quality, but also it can improve the visual comfort. So the buildings looks nice for the occupants and for the neighborhood. And these are the main, in my opinion, benefits about the plug and play facades. So thank you so much for this. I encourage also you to visit the MULTICARE website to go more into technical details. If someone is interested, there are some articles telling exactly how it will be done. And once again, thank you very much for the webinar today, and thanks again for switching me to the third one. So thanks again.
Thank you, Lucas, for this very interesting, very detailed and technical topic, but of course the audience appreciates that. Then we move on to the next speaker, Shima Ibrahim. Shima is a senior energy efficiency and policy expert at IECP. Her current work covers energy efficiency in the building sector, innovative business models for financing energy retrofits, zero energy buildings, and EU-level energy efficiency policies, as well as circularity and digitalization in the building sector. She will be presenting today, sorry, the EBENTO one-stop shop approach, which includes how ENPCs are integrated into the renovation wave, the regulatory framework linked to the innovation concepts of EBENTO OSS, and the lessons learned and challenges identified during the implementation in the 4 pilots. Pilots is also another keyword that you will hear amongst different projects, because that's a way to also implement projects and show results in a confined area and try to do the replicability. Shima, the floor is yours.
Can you see my screen?
We do not see your presentation yet. We see the notes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ervis, for the introduction. So as Ervis mentioned, my name is Shima Ibrahimi from ICP, Institute for Energy Efficiency and Climate Policy. And today I am going to explain you about EBENTO and how we try to help different stakeholders to move from more traditional renovation approaches toward more performance-based and data-driven renovation. So EBENTO was started to address a very practical challenge, more renovation, promise improvement, but we rarely measure what actually happens afterward. And our objective is actually try to address this gap. So we aim to investigate innovative digital tools into renovation processes, to test performance-based business models like energy performance contracting, and to measure also energy indoor comfort, flexibility, and environmental benefits in real life. And through all of these objectives, we want to make renovation processes more transparent and replicable across different countries. So in short, EBENTO tried to bridge the gap between the renovation plans and the renovation outcomes. We work with 10 partners across 6 EU countries and 1 associated partners. And we test the EBENTO in very different building and market contexts in Estonia, Greece, Spain, and United Kingdom. And this 4 pilot actually gave us a realistic picture of how digital renovation tools perform in different climates, culture, and practical situations. So these are the supportive legislation for EBENTO, as you already know about them, so I'm not going to explain. And in order to achieve this objective, we need more reliable data, transparent processes, and tools that make renovation easier for citizens and professionals. And EBENTO supports exactly this shift. So the good news is that we have the policy framework, the EED and EPBD actually contain all the regulatory backgrounds, standard obligation and definition related to energy performance contracting and establishment of one-stop shop platform. And EBENTO actually is built to align with this requirement. So the tool that we develop can be used directly within the evolving EU framework. So maybe it's a good to give a definition about what do we mean by energy performance contracting here. So it's a formal agreement outlining the responsibilities, guarantees, and payment terms between the client and ESCO companies. And there are different types, and in EBENTO we cover 5 types of this energy performance contracting. So here is our one-stop shop platform. It's a web-based tool that has been developed by our technical team, ETRA and Hypertech. And if you're interested, you can actually register to this one-stop shop, and you can also watch the video to see different part of the one-stop shop platform that has been captured. So to explain you in theory what this EBENTO one-stop shop contains. So we know that renovation project involve many activities. We have identifying what's the problem in the building, planning, buying the technology, accessing to a different financial source and contractor. And EBENTO bring all these elements together through 5 digital pillars that can be categorized into simulation tools. We have 2 simulation tools in EBENTO: building renovation modeling simulation, building economic modeling simulation for economical simulation, and to measure the economics impacts also the energy cost and also demand response flexibility, saving from the energy efficiency renovation. We have the monitoring tool. We have 2 monitoring tools actually. We have one for monitoring energy saving, the comfort and environmental sensing saving monitoring. Also, we have a specific tool for monitoring innovative technologies management within our platform. And it's a database for innovation technology, such as IoT devices, solar PV panels, and etc. And finally, we have the energy performance contracting modules that cover and manage and store all the energy performance contracts type. So we have 5 type in our EBENTO one-stop shop platform. The one is the normal type of traditional contract. The second one is energy performance contracting with energy saving. The third one is energy saving with comfort guaranteed, and the fourth one is energy saving with demand response. And the last one cover all of these guaranteed, including comfort, demand response, and energy saving. So actually, this structure gives homeowners, contractors, ESCOs, and authorities a shared and transparent workplace for planning and verifying renovation projects. So across the pilot, we tested the one-stop shop with different user and building types. And this pilot actually helped us to understand what works, what confuses the user, and what data is most useful for the decision-making towards renovations. So from these pilots, we learned 4 important lessons. So data help people understand their buildings. Monitoring makes comfort and consumption visible, and users tends to engage more when they understand what's happening in their home. Second one is comfort matters as much as energy saving. People usually judge renovation quality by how their homes feels, not just how much energy they are going to save. And the third one is financing needs reliable information, especially in our case when we wanted to test the energy performance contracts. We require predictable and verifiable results. And the one-stop shop platform support this by providing the measured KPI rather than estimations. And last but not the least, trust is the critical ingredient. Citizens want reliable professionals, professionals want reliable data, and they always create a more transparent environment for both. So, of course, we also face several challenges. I would say that these are not all challenges. There are more than these challenges that we have identified through the process of developing the one-stop shop, also testing. There are a lot of citizen engagement from the beginning of developing the OS within EBENTO project. But these are some of the examples of the challenges that we have faced. The first one is lack of interoperability with utility energy data. So energy supplier do not provide a standard data format, and our partners, some of them, they had to enter manually the data from the buildings. And in some countries, there are really legislative barrier to generating building information modeling or energy performance certificate data, and obtaining, for example, floor plans or official document can be very slow, and especially for older buildings. And that's not the good news for our project, but MPC business model remain risky for the financial sector because savings depend heavily on the user behavior, and still the payback periods are really long. Our social scientist team, they are working on to make these KPIs more broader and also include other type of advantages. For example, increasing the house value to the calculation of the payback period. And another important challenge is that there is no shared EU or national scheme to validate these one-stop shop contractors and the one that wants to join, and that's really a barrier. Because through our one-stop shop platform, we also want to provide a list of professionals that are reliable to the end user, and that's really important for EBENTO one-stop shop. And I think for similar one-stop shop platform within EU. And also for the contract, there is a lack of a standard agreement and contract template, and each project actually requires customer paperwork and legal adaptation that increase the time for conducting the renovation. Also, in one of the cases in Valencia, we installed the facade insulation. It improved the winter comfort, but at the end, it worsened the summer overheating because the shading was missing. So that's also needs to be considered when we implement one. It shouldn't be an isolated picture. So we need to cover the whole life cycle of the building. And all these insights point to one conclusion. If we want high quality renovation at the scale, we need clearer rules and more consistent processes. This means 5 things, at least for EBENTO project. First one is certifying professionals based on real result, testing and verifying every renovations, having clear rule for building data. That was also very important during the implementation of and during the testing of our one-stop shop systems. They want to know what data is being collected from their buildings, who can use it, and who is responsible for it. And there should be a clear rules on consent, access, and liability to make it safe for using the data from the buildings. And the fourth one is that linking funding to a verified outcome. So public money and MPC payments should be based on measured comfort and energy KPIs. And the last one is seeing renovation as an ongoing services. Since building evolve over time and performance should be monitored and maintained, not assumed. So this is not about adding complexity. It's about making renovation more reliable, more predictable, and more trusted. And thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, please let me know. Otherwise, you can also send me an email at shima@icp.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shima, very much. We then move on to the next presentation, and it's the project Chronicle, and Leon Nielsen, the project manager, will take over the floor. Leon is a civil engineer with more than 10 years experience in engineering, design and construction of buildings, specializing in structures and facades in both UK and Australia. Now he's based in Spain and involved in European projects in energy efficiency and sustainable domains. The Chronicle project itself focuses on low-cost, trustworthy tool for building assessment. Motivating action is the first step in the renovation process. It needs a low barrier to entry, should focus on a range of factors and give the information required for sound decision. Leon, the floor is yours, even though with a short description, you already gave some of the findings of the project. Please take over.
Thank you very much. So I'll be speaking about Chronicle today. So Chronicle, building performance digitalization and dynamic logbooks for future value-driven services. I mean, in layman terms, the idea is to try and give buildings a voice. I'm having problems with changing slide. There we go, that's better. So in Chronicle, we have 18 partners from a range of, as all European projects have, different universities, foundations, pilot partners, things like that. Based in 8 countries: Spain, Greece, Italy, Ireland, Denmark, Norway, Lithuania, and Switzerland. So a good cross-section of the European countries and climates. 5 pilot sites, skewed towards social housing. They tend to be easy to include in European projects. That's why they tend to be overrepresented, but it's also helpful for projects. So Denmark, social housing in Herning, social housing in Spain, Ireland, affordable homes, row houses, Switzerland, a retirement home, and Greece, the Asprospitia settlement, which is an industrial settlement. The project is teamwork. And just to remind everyone that these projects involve a huge range of people with different expertise, and just the collaborative nature is something to highlight. I'm representing all these people today, and I hope I do my best. Who am I? Leo Nilsson, Project Manager, Synergies Technology Centre. Synergies is based in Saragossa in Spain. What's my understanding, a brief understanding of Renovation Wave? So European Commission initiative from 2020 to 2030, a target renovation of 35 million buildings to 2030. That's a lot. And of course, it's linked to all these other initiatives like the new European Bauhaus, the EPD, Fit for 55. I'm sure you can think of more. A constructive wave, not the destructive tsunami that AI generated for me. So the renovation wave targeted barriers to renovation. So some of the barriers there: complexity, cost, time, measurement, regulation, finance. We deal in Chronicle with a lot of those, but more at the starting phase, so project conception. Overall, what are we looking for? CO2 down, circularity to be increased, and improved indoor air quality and indoor environment quality, of course. In Chronicle, so we focus on the first step, motivate action. So to motivate action, you need a complete picture of the current state. You need a reliable picture of future states and a way to compare between those two things. And you need to encourage dynamic and life cycle thinking. So a building is not a static thing. When you look at changes to the building, that you consider the entire life cycle related to whatever renovation action you decide or efficiency action you take. The foundations for motivating action. So simple, actionable, energy efficiency and renovation insights from low cost assessment. I think that's the key, to make that initial assessment low cost, so that people can see the benefit very quickly, easily, and with a minimum of upfront cost. To help with that, process standardization for increased compatibility between actors and platforms, and standardization, whether that be sort of proper European normalization or sort of agreed industry standards that people tend to use on a more consistent basis, even if it's not in an official document. I'll deal with the first two now, and those are more related to the specific project activities. So the Chronicle components, the key digital components, a central data environment and a common data model. And they were built on open ontologies for interoperability. And the idea was to bridge the BIM IoT gap, so bring everything under that CDE, so that there was a consistent place where you could go and call the information via APIs and things like that. Digital twins, sort of the engine behind our analysis. So there was a data-driven digital twin, looking at more just the IoT data. So to learn, profile, and predict energy-related building operation and occupant behavior. And the physics-based, which was a more traditional physics modeling based on a particular IFC file from BIM modeling. And I guess looking at the evolution of that as well. So looking at trying to have a quick way to change the building energy model using IFCs. Applications for stakeholders. So we were focused on stakeholders such as architects, engineers, and construction professionals, facility managers, owners, operators, and ESCOs. The idea was to focus more on the professional side. CROView Plus is sort of our overall multi-tool, if you like, so for analysis and optimization of building performance through data-driven diagnostics, simulations, and smart readiness assessments. The CROView FM was an IFC viewer integrated with a CDE, so what it allowed was 3D viewing of the building, and also in that same 3D view you could click on IoT sensors, look at more in-depth data such as CO2 related to particular data streams and things like that. So sort of a good multi-purpose viewer with detailed information. CROView was a resident application. It was a simple mobile application based on, I guess, the things that residents can change directly through their behavior. So you see things like indoor air quality, environment quality, temperature, and overall energy use in that application. And the final two applications, CROView Ren, which is a renovation planner. So there was a data-driven renovation planning through the creation and evaluation of optimized scenarios. That was sort of the idea was for that to be automated so that we could, so the user could click through using the application and pick some different renovation options. It could give you the best options, or give you the pros and cons of those different options, and you could click on them. And through the investment appraiser, you could also get additional information like life cycle cost in terms of euros and environmental impact to help you informing decisions on which renovation to take. And finally, digital building logbook. So other people have spoken about that, the lack of information, how hard it is to get information. Well, I guess looking to the future, the idea is to have things like digital building logbooks to securely store all that information and have a trustworthy profile of the building states and different changes throughout the building's life. Now we'll deal with the last one. So this is, I guess, more about the lessons learned throughout the project and some of the parallel activities. There was lots of standardization activity carried out through the project. This is one of note that finished in 12th of November. There was attempts to sort of get proper standardization done, but that's a very long-term project, which sometimes you can't even achieve in 2 European projects. But this was the carbon bill of the refurbishment of buildings. So it was a European Committee for Standardization workshop agreement, guidelines to establish the carbon bill of the refurbishment of buildings. If you use that QR code, you can get much more information. It converts emissions into costs, incentivizing lower impact solutions, and facilitates informed decisions for public policy, green financing, and real estate decarbonization strategies. There are also connections between life cycle assessment and BIM in some publications during the project as well. So if you, at the end, you can see the project website and you can click through to the publications if you're interested. That was published in November of this year. Practical BIM issues in Chronicle. So BIM in Chronicle provides the 3D digital representation of buildings' characteristics. So it combines geometry and data, acting as a common foundation for interoperability. So it's sort of another part of that sort of interoperability framework as for the CDE. A big problem was lack of building information modeling understanding. So the first step is making sure that everyone on the project understands what we mean by building information modeling, especially when it comes to energy modeling of a building, because they are quite different things: an energy model for construction, an energy and a BIM model for energy. So very specific requirements for energy modeling and IFC output. A process for requirements and validation is essential. So you need that process whereby you go through the partners, talking to them, working out the requirements for the BIM modeling, and then validating the BIM modeling after through checking the IFC files are valid. Input problems, language. So you get different languages in your different sources of data. Could be data sources from sort of looking at carbon accounting, or just the different libraries in BIM libraries. Of course, undocumented buildings, old buildings, you just don't have very good documentation. And maybe you have an old scanned PDF. That's difficult to use in the first place. And second is, can you trust that information? Is it the updated information? Does it reflect the actual building state? So final thing, BIM for energy. Well, not just any BIM will do, and that's the key takeaway there. Finally, I guess to summarize, motivating action equals showing the benefits. And to show the benefits, you need to overcome, I guess, the key things that we saw that, I mean, apart from everything else, but these were sort of the things that put a stop to our work. You need to overcome limited building information. You need to overcome lack of standards, knowledge, and generalized methodologies. And if you can sort of do those two things, I guess related to what I've discussed today, you hopefully get trustworthy, actionable information at a reasonable price. And that can lead to that decision to renovate. Use the QR codes to see us on the internet or on LinkedIn, or you can email me as well. And of course, ask any questions later. That's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Leon, very much. And last but not least, we move on to the project INPERSO, which will be presented by Nur Samatsoglu Patmore. Noor is a postdoctoral research associate at Tampere University in Finland, specializing in human building interactions, smart technologies, user behavior, and sustainable building renovation. She is part also of a human-centered technology research group within the computer sciences unit. The project itself, INPERSO, will deliver inclusive, affordable, efficient, and sustainable renovation, which will be adaptable to various climate zones and building typologies, but focused on residential and heritage buildings. Noor will present insights from the research that how smart meters feedback can support energy-efficient behavior in residential buildings. The presentation highlights key behavior drivers, contextual challenges, and design implications. Without further ado, I give the floor to Noor for her presentation. Thank you.
Hello, I hope you are already seeing my presentation.
You can see the document, but not in now in presentation mode.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Hi again. I will be talking about INPERSO, and I will specifically share some insights on how smart meter feedback meaningfully support energy-saving behaviors in residential buildings. INPERSO project combines industrialization and personalization in deep renovation, and it focuses on rethinking renovation by integrating smart technologies in a strong human-centered focus. We work across 3 pilots: Spain, Netherlands, and Greece. And within INPERSO, my work specifically focusing on user interaction with novel digital systems. So I will be presenting specifically that task. So before we look at the research insight, it is useful to situate the topic in a wider European renovation landscape. So we all know that the rising energy costs and accelerating climate targets put a significant pressure on the residential sector. So smart meters are now widely deployed across all over the Europe, but the evidence is very clear that data alone is not changing behavior. So as we move into the stronger renovation wave and with updated energy performance of building directive, renovation projects increasingly rely on digital tools to support residents. This means we need to think not only about the building fabric, but also how people interpret energy information during and after renovation. Behaviorally effective feedback has the potential to transform renovation outcomes, which is turning temporary interest or one-off upgrades into sustained, meaningful reduction in energy use. This is why understanding the mechanism behind the energy behavior is so essential now. In this work, rather than focusing on the technical performance of smart meters, we look at the conditions that shape how people actually respond to energy information. The first area is the contextual factors. This includes the socio-demographic patterns, levels of technological literacy, building characteristics, tariff structures, and even how engagement naturally declines over time. All these elements frame what residents are realistically able and willing to do. The second area involves the behavioral drivers. This includes the cognitive side, like financial pressures, social comparison, and the cues that help energy-saving actions become habits. And finally, we examine the solutions, including personalized feedback, gamified tools, adaptive systems that use AI to adjust the timing and the form of the messages. These represent the next generation of digital tools that could support renovation outcomes across Europe. Together, these 3 themes help us to understand why some interventions succeed while others fade out, and how can we design more effective, resident-centered approaches. It is important to recognize that energy use is shaped by the broader contexts in which people live. So we see strong socio-demographic patterns, like younger renters typically consume more energy and are less responsive to feedback, while older adults often struggle with digital interfaces. The housing context also matters. Detached homes, larger dwellings, and poor thermal conditions increase consumption. In a rural household often responds more strongly to feedback than urban ones. And on the technological side, interface limitations reduce impact. When users cannot translate the specific kilowatt into meaningful actions, or when feedback remains too abstract, engagement declines very quickly. The pricing environment adds another layer. The dynamic tariffs can encourage load shifting, but their complexity discourages many households. People prefer simpler pricing structures. Finally, the structural constraints, like renters lacking control over a building system or limited digital literacy or financial stress, significantly shape what behavior is possible. And these contextual factors are essential for designing more inclusive and effective renovation strategies. To understand how smart meter feedback actually shifts behavior, we look at 5 mechanisms that consistently appears in different evidence. The cognitive awareness, when residents see real-time or appliance-specific data, their mental model of energy use changes. This awareness is a foundation for action. Then social influence has an effect, but not so strong in many cases. But peer comparison, community benchmarks, or even informal norms guide how people interpret their own consumption. Therefore, social identity can strengthen or weaken the response. The third mechanism is a financial pressure. Visibility of cost, perceived risk of high bills, or dynamic pricing all strongly affect behavior, especially for households with tighter financial margins. We see the role of intrinsic attitudes and values. Environmental concern helps, but it's not enough only and rarely produces sustained behavioral change. And for finally, the habit formation cues, reminders, personalized feedback, gamified elements are critical for maintaining engagement beyond the initial novelty. Together, this mechanism explains why feedback works in some households, not in others. And of course, the long-term behavior change requires more than simply providing data. And several mechanisms constantly emerge as the most effective in reducing residential energy use. The first is real-time appliance-specific feedback. When residents can see exactly which devices are driving the most consumption, savings typically fall between 7 and 12%. Loss frame feedback highlight what people lose by overconsumption. It creates a stronger emotional trigger, and this intervention reduced the standby loss by 16 to 25%, which is one of the highest effect observed. Normative comparison also matter, but it's very low. Frequency is another important factor. Weekly feedback leads to around approximately 9%, but when irregular updates result in much smaller effects. And finally, when feedback is linked to gamified tasks or reward systems, the reduction can reach 10%, providing engagement is sustained. These findings point to clear message. Design matters. The way we frame, deliver, and personalize the energy information determine whether smart meter or any other specific, like a feedback systems, actually change behavior. So to close, the core message is simple. Smart meter deliver real value only when behavioral insight and user-centered design are intentionally aligned with the renovation process. So thank you. This is my presentation. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Nur. And as promised, now we open the floor for questions from the audience. And as promised also, I think we stopped the recording because this is the super secretive part.